with the willingness of our passers, we're going to be really good.
And that was great early on to see Isaac run the floor and get an easy one, too.
Yeah, and I actually, at the timeout, he was actually jogging, and then he saw that he had an opportunity, and then he took off
sound like somebody you know, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So what about you guys is 4? So at the 4 spot, I guess I won't say too much from a personnel standpoint, because we know what Mason can do. We know what Isaac can do. I like how you guys, it's kind of like using like with me and Jahans. Like we had things that balance each other. Where does Jason Green fit in amongst that as the season progresses?
It's a great question. And Jason was just starting to find his way right before he broke his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason gives us a totally different asset at that position. He's a better defender.
Yeah.
He's able to switch and guard people. And he's a very, very good offensive rebounder.
He is.
I mean, he'll figure out, similar to Baylor at the defensive end. Baylor just has an unbelievable feel for defensive rebounding. Jason has that same feel at the offensive end. He knows when to cut. The guys are comfortable with him. It's just a matter of, finding time for him.
Right, I know.
When and where and how, because he certainly deserves it. But at the same time, when you have the other 2 guys going 9 for 11,
right,
it's hard to find that time. But the good thing is we had a game today where he could get significant minutes in a game.
Yeah.
I don't know what he ended up playing, but that's important, moving forward, because we're going to need him at some point in time.
And the follow-up to that is Josiah. Now, I know despite him being a freshman, I know down the stretch you guys will probably need him a lot too, because you don't have that backup point. I mean, you got Trey, but things happen. What's your encouragement, or how do you guys keep Josiah, being a freshman, just staying ready, even though like he look at the score and God, we're up 30. Can I get in?
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's not easy, the position that he's in. But he's a freshman and he's still learning.
Yeah.
Our system is there's a lot of freedom involved with it, and when you come from a program as Josiah did at Bell West, where he was very well coached, he still was the man.
Yep.
And the ball was in his hands, and he had to make plays. Well, now this is totally different.
Yeah.
You have to trust the rest of your teammates, less dribbling and more moving without the ball, and then it's the enormous amount of things that we put in, both offensively and defensively. It takes time.
It does.
And I think Josiah's struggling a little bit with that, but he's got the right attitude, and he'll continue to grow.
For sure. It kind of reminded me of myself, man. Like, Mac had so many plays when you guys first came that, like, I was trying to execute on top of being in the right spots.
Right.
It's a lot, man.
That's a great point that Josh just made, because that's what our newcomers that are the first year in the program, they're just happy for the longest time being able to remember the play. There are so many intricacies within the play, the timing and the spacing, and there's more to it than just being able to run the play or knowing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you can see the talent of Josiah out there. I mean, it doesn't take you long.
For sure.
Doesn't take you long to watch him to see he's got tremendous talent.
The one thing that I noticed with Josiah right away was his ability to get the ball from A to B. Fast. And that's what we want out of our point guard. Now, with that being said, he still has a tendency to over dribble and take 1 or 2 more dribbles than he needs to, and that's just what he was asked to do in high school.
True.
And it's going to take time.
True.
And the guys are confident in him. He's confident in them, but it's just a different style than what he's used to.
For sure.
So you got a little bit unusual week, because you're going to go, out to Vegas, but it's not going to be at Thomas & Mack. It's going to be out in Henderson at an arena. So you're quote unquote a neutral site game. Right. I don't know officially if that counts. Does it officially count as a neutral site?
I'm sure it does.
Does it?
Yeah, it's neutral.
Yeah. And then obviously,
what do they play at typically though?
Well, UNLV would play at Thomas & Mack on campus.
Yeah, okay.
Probably with the events of this week, it's probably better it's not there, But then obviously a week from today, big game everybody's looking forward to, a nighttime Saturday night game with Alabama.
Yeah, Josh will tell you this. It's all about UNLV.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the mindset that we have. Obviously, the guys know that you know, Alabama got beat today by Purdue
Yeah.
in a really close game.
They were up too.
But that's how Mac approaches things, is one game at a time. And, you know, it's a long season. It's a grind. There's going to be opportunities both to be successful and, you know, we'll probably have some setbacks along the way. But as long as we continue to grow from those, we'll be really, really good.
I mean, obviously, the horrible events happened, but then UNLV lost a game to a very good Dayton team that could have given you more context of right. what the team is about, you know, because that's a good Dayton team.
Yeah, yep, it is. And you know, as today, too, I mean, it's really, no, they weren't at full strength yet. Central Michigan has had a lot of little injuries, so even predicting who they were going to start was difficult, and they still had one of their starter was out tonight.
Yep.
So, yeah, injuries play a part in it. You know, knock on wood that we continue to stay healthy and, you know, move forward. But if we don't, then somebody else has to step up and get the job done.
That's right. I want to shout out Andrew, bro. I seen him walking down in a nice green. Where do they get those blazers
well, he's
from?
got. Isn't that a legacy thing? Like one senior gets to wear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy.
Matt Foley. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I know Matt.
I
know Matt.
Mistakes. He started it 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the same stinking jacket.
And that's what I was saying. Yeah, I wanted to shout your son out. Shout out my boy Andrew, man.
And it probably hasn't been cleaned or washed since then.
I think that's part of the legacy. Not taking it to the dry cleaner.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, that's great, though. It's a great-looking coat, man. Yeah. All right. Hey, Murph, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. And Murph's appearance here is sponsored by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Two great locations, the Pierce Street location in Elkhorn, and then also the new upscale look, by the way, in Elkhorn, fantastic. And also in the Old Mill, Old Mill district, right south of the Schwab headquarters. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. If you're looking for a bank to be your personal bank and have your personal checking account in, please see them. President Doug Naugard, a huge Jays fan, and wants you to join the many who have switched to Equitable Bank. It's the bank of Bluejay Banter. So please give it a try. It's Equitable Bank. They take banking personally, and they do answer the phone on the first ring every time. That's Equitable Bank. We want to thank Murph for joining us.
Hey, Coach Merfeld, what I like about him, man, is, hey, can I get a little feedback in my head to hear myself? Just a little bit, please. You know? But what I was saying about Coach Murph is, I like his perspective because, like, he's not really always. It's not about him being serious. It's about, like, the way he sees the game. He's such of a detail-oriented guy that, like, if you don't know him, you don't know how he feels about things. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can tell he was very happy. I mean, just you go up and down this box score and you just pick out things like, you know, Mason with 17, Trey with 15, Ryan with 15, Baylor with 13, 9 assists for Baylor, 8 assists for Trey, 18 for Isaac Trout,
right?
14 for Fred King.
Yeah.
It's 6 guys double figures.
Is there a half? Is there like a first half, second half, 3-point record or something? Somebody got to have that, right? I mean, 5 threes is like.
Oh, Rogge had way more than that against Villanova.
Oh,
I think what he had, like 7.
Maybe 7. Yeah, I'm tripping. I forgot.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I didn't want to do this with Coach Murph because that is Coach Mack's philosophy and way we don't look ahead. But from a fan's perspective, man, this is the year. Yeah.
It does that. The UNLV game kind of scares me in a little way because, well, look, they're not Purdue, okay, but they're not Central Michigan either.
No doubt.
Know?
Yeah.
And we are going away from home. It's in a neutral site. It's a place they're not familiar playing in.
For sure.
Okay. But on the other hand, there's probably tons of Vegas fans who live out in Henderson.
Yeah, bring them both.
And don't get a chance to watch UNLV games on a regular basis. They're going to be able to go to this game, and they're going to be fired up to see a game.
Are you worried about toughness?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just everything. You know, it's that look ahead thing. It's that out of school after.
What's the identity from your standpoint about toughness? Like, we're not a soft team, but I just want to know, like, what's your thoughts on going into UNLV, neutral site game?
Our toughness hasn't been challenged yet.
There you go. That's a good way to say it. I feel you.
It has a little bit, like Colorado State did, and then coming back from that.
Bring your girl in here.
But that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, let's. We're gonna get player profile right now, and our sponsor is CareMinders Home Care.
Yeah.
CareMinders Home Care. When you're in need of care for your injured or ill senior loved one,
Josiah,
reach out. CareMinders Home Care. Their agency is comprised of certified caregivers who have many years of experience. You'll receive versatile, flexible, and customized care for your comfort, peace of mind, and well-being. So give a call, 402-532-1383, or go to careminders.com. I'm sorry, caremindersnebraska.com. CareMinders Home Care, title sponsor of the Bluejay Banter Let It Fly post-game show. And it's time for player profile. And we're so privileged and honored to have Josiah Dotzler with us.
Yeah, I had to get your people in here, man.
Yeah, no.
You know, I feel you trying to be polite, but you got to hear this now.
Josh with his own fan group here, you know.
Yeah.
We deal with this every show. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
You survived the walkover. It's a little cool.
It's pretty cold.
Yeah, right. He's tripping. It's cold.
I got to tell you something yesterday. So at the coaches luncheon yesterday, your brother was there. You know, led us into prayer ahead of time. But first of all, for people who don't know me, I'm Josh Dotzler. I'm Josiah's brother. And everybody kind of chuckles. He says, that's how I'm going to go from now on, and I'm good with that. So, wow, that's pretty big. That's pretty high cotton there to have your brother say, I'm Josiah's brother.
I didn't know he was doing any of that.
he don't got no choice. Well, he don't got no choice. No, that's good. That's good, man. What's your take on the game? I know obviously it was a blowout. I was kind of we were talking to Coach Murph about it. You just being an incoming freshman, doing everything you can to prepare, stay in the rotation, seeing a game like that or whatever, where's your mindset today?
I think with a game like this and, you know, all the games even moving forward, my role varies from game to game. And I think that my responsibility is just to stay ready, stay as ready as can be, and that comes through practices and getting up extra shots. And so, you know, I'm just trying to become more comfortable with my role so that when I'm in there, it doesn't take me too long to warm up or, you know, like my stiff legs.
You figured it out.
So that's a learning process, but it's definitely something I'm figuring out and I'm learning. So
that's a good point, because today he came in and, you know, things didn't go well the first 20 seconds. You know, do you just like kind of reset after that and go, okay, let's forget about it, let's move on? Obviously, you're in a game where it's not a 2-point game, so you're able to just develop into your own rhythm and so forth.
Yeah, for sure. You got to have a short memory in basketball. And so with something like that, you know, I just came off the bench and my legs were real stiff and I wasn't very, like, involved and engaged, and I needed to lock myself back in. So, you know, after that possession, you just had to look at the next possession and say, like, we're starting right over. So.
Hey, Steven, what does he do for you as an upperclassman, as a vet playing college basketball? How does he what's that relationship like? You know, obviously you're competing for minutes, but at the same time, like, you're supporting him as a reserve. Like, what's that relationship like with you two guys as guards?
Yeah, for sure. In practices, it's great. You know, the competitive nature of both of us pushes us every day to be better.
Sure.
And I love that. He pushes me to be better. I push him. And then after, when there's breaks and after practices, you know, I try to pick at his brain as much as I can. You know, if I'm confused about something or if I see something that he did, and I'll go ask him about it. And he's really good at just giving me feedback on what he sees, and he sees the game real well. So
for sure,
Murph kind of spoke to this. It's got to be really hard. Like last year, like when I talked to people about you, immediately the first thing they say is, "Oh man, did you see him in high school? He was unbelievable." They just rave it. It's got to be tough when you had the ball in your hand a lot in high school. They were dependent on you to score, to make plays, and now you come to this where it's a little bit different. Like, how tough is that for you to adjust to that, especially when you get it's one thing to think about it and do it in practice, but in the heat of the action, like, okay, I got the ball. I'm going to make this play right now.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think coming into the college season, it was something I had to learn. Like last year, the ball was in my hands almost every single possession.
Yeah. At least 30%.
Yeah, majority of the time.
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to look at it more as just rounding me off as a player coming here. So, like, I'm not going to have the ball as much in my hand, but it's helping me shape different parts of the game, you know, being able to cut off the ball, being able to see spacing when the ball's not in my hand and how I can create a shot even when the ball doesn't come and touch my hand. So I think it's just something I'm learning, and it's helping me develop my game to be an even better player. So.
Nice offensive rebound today, by the way.
Thank you.
And put back.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, if anybody out there watching this want to know the epitome of what success looks like by any means, your answers are, like, real answers. I mean, I played, so when I hear you speak, the relatability, I redshirted, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and I played with Josiah's brother, you know? So, by the way. But, like, the way that you speak is like, it's like you have a goal, and it's like there's no deterrence to it.
Yeah.
It's just barriers, and you're trying to figure out the access to get there. So that's why, like, I think your attitude will actually contribute. We're going to look back on this at some time in the season, and you're going to do something to help our team win when we need it the most because you're staying ready. I mean, of course, we're human. Things stay hard, but, like, I can appreciate a guy like you on the team, and only can imagine how you uplift the locker room. That's huge, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, a lot of respect.
So from a team perspective, like we were just talking before you came in about the week ahead, and you're like, yeah, fans are already looking ahead to Alabama.
Yeah, they're talking about when I deflected the ball.
I'm worried about UNLV. I mean, this is a game, like, yes, it's arena they haven't played in either, but it's also, like I was telling Josh, a lot of their fans that live in Henderson probably don't go and see them regularly. Now they're going to go see them. Yeah,
it's a home game. It's in the hood.
And it's you guys are out of school, so that's kind of different now. Yeah. You know, so talk about the focus you have to have for Wednesday.
No, yeah, I'm excited for Wednesday. We can't look too far ahead to Alabama when we got one right in front of us. This is going to be a battle. It's going to be a great one. I'm just excited to get in Vegas. We got a bunch of Vegas boys on the team. I think 2 or 3. And they're pumped about it too.
Yeah,
so I
for
know
sure.
Practices are going to be real competitive these next few days.
I got to get on the court. That's good. That's good.
I think we're gonna prepare real well for UNLV. No one on the team. I know the fans might be, but no one on the team's looking farther ahead than what we have in front of us right now, which is UNLV. So.
100%. How did you feel about, like, the way you guys shot it tonight? Like, is that who you are? Is that who the team is? Like, I mean, obviously nobody's going to shoot always that well, but for the most part of it, from what you see in and day out, can the fans kind of count on that to be the identity of your team? Anybody can score like that on any given night? Or were we just playing Central Michigan?
No. You guys come watch practices, you'll see that our whole team, almost every person on the team can really shoot that thing. And that's what makes us special is anyone can go off on a night and hit a bunch of threes like that. But I know that, especially with how Coach has been talking to us and how we are as a team, we don't want to be a type of team that lives and dies on that three-point line.
I feel it.
So we want our defense to just be something so reliable that when we are having bad shooting games, we're fine.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, I'll let you guys know that we can really shoot.
Yeah, they can. But that being said, man, to have your 4s go 9 for 11 for 3,
that's crazy.
That helps out the whole rest of the team, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, they were on fire, and I was so happy on the bench. You know, I was loving it. Those were my guys.
I wish Jason, he didn't make a 3, did he?
No, but he's that hustler though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I left like to keep it funky. Like, I looked up and I was like, man, I'm gonna just see Josiah at the podcast. They up 30, you know. I left, you know. But it was great. I'm excited about where you guys are at right now. I mean, I think where you're at today versus like coming to college, it's the same energy. You know, Coach Merfeld, just to let you know that he did say you are taking strides, and also he feels like you're coming along progressively, day by day, practice by practice, game by game, getting some of the high school habits out or whatever. But he commends you because you do stay ready. But with all that said or whatever, how do you feel about just being in a position to where, like, you actually could see yourself, like, playing the off guard and the point guard. Like, I look at somebody like Francisco Farabello, and and I think he's coming out. He came out of his shell last year. He wasn't shooting it as quick or as frequent as he is now or whatever. But are you also trying to prepare yourself to be a wing player also too, or are you just focused on the point guard position?
Yeah, I think in high school and when I was younger, for sure, I just wanted to be a point guard. I was like, that's what I want to be. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I love having the ball in my hands. I love making plays for my teammates. That's what I want to be. But as, you know, I'm getting older, and God gave me a few more inches than my brother Josh.
Yeah, you got a little taller.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, as I'm looking at it, I mean, I just look at it as a guard spot now. I can
For sure.
play on the ball, off the ball, but if you're making plays for your teammates, you don't have to have the point guard position role. You can play anywhere on the court. So.
For sure. Okay, yeah, that's good to know.
One last question. I gotta ask you about the Nebraska game, huh? How fun was that?
Oh my gosh. The environment there, everything. You know, I was talking to my parents before the game, and I had played at PBA previously 12 times.
Wow.
I think you tied with me.
Yeah, that was my 13th time playing.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I don't like to say this, but like that atmosphere, I loved playing there just because it gave so much nostalgia back and the high school vibes back there. But I was so glad to see the Jays beat the Huskies.
Hey, in high school, how many times did you went to the state tournament every year?
Yeah.
Right. So 12 times.
Yeah.
Okay,
but wait. In your day, you weren't playing at PBA.
No, when we talking about going to the tournament, brother, it's gonna be hating low key.
You were at Devaney. They're just playing volleyball there now.
Yeah,
buddy.
we talking about straight state tournament. Yeah. But no, I can imagine for you, and that's why I was thinking about Baylor too. I like, in all seriousness, like. Yeah, he was hot, but the comfortability, he a Nebraska kid. Yeah. So it didn't really mean nothing to him to really do what he did, you know? Mm-hmm. So, no, I can imagine. I got a text message during the game, and somebody, like, try to, like, shoot, like, a little, like, Husker jab and say, hey, man, there's not a lot of blue cheering here. I said, the Nets are. The Nets are cheering for sure. So, no, it was cool. It was good for me.
I love what your brother said yesterday. He said, you know, I've had to go all year. I've got all these Creighton jokes at Nebraska people.
Yeah.
And I've had to table them for a whole year. Now I can break them out.
Bring them back.
Yeah, there you go.
Josiah, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, we do appreciate you, man. Stick with it, bro.
Thank you.
And his appearance is sponsored by Careminders, as we said. Home care for injured, ill, or senior loved one is something you probably don't think about until the need arises. Jim, a huge Jays fan over there at Careminders. You know, he said people will reach out to us till they need our services. But that's why you should call Careminders first, because they're highly trained professionals are waiting to serve you and take care of all your needs. So give them a call today, 402-532-1383. And maybe you're not ready for their services yet. No problem. Go to caremindersnebraska.com and check out all they can offer. So when it's time to call on Careminders, you're ready to go. Thank you so much to Josiah, and thank you so much to Careminders. All right. Well, we got Unsung Hero. That's going to be tough today.
Let's look at these numbers, man.
Look at him. Well, what I told Ross the other day, though, I said, I like what Josh did.
Uh-huh.
Where we can pull just a piece out of somebody's game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to take a piece. Well, this will be 2 in a row, though. I just love those passes that Baylor
100%.
was laying on.
I was going to say the same thing. The reason why I was going to say him is because, like, that's what I'm expecting from him this season. I need him to play in the Big East play and make plays for his teammates in transition like that, just because it's like an added value to what he already can bring to a team.
Yeah.
You've guarded the 4 position. We know you can shoot deep threes.
Guarded the 5.
Or the 5. He undersized in my eyes, but he the 5.
Yeah.
Right. So he guarded the 5. We know he can shoot the deep threes and he can defensive rebound. Now you can dribble in transition. Now you're talking first team All Big East.
Yep.
If he plays at that level, does what he does there, we're gonna.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I remember in New York, I said to him, I go, your teammates got love on the first team. What do you think about it? He goes, not worried at all. He goes, we'll wait till the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I went, whoa, that's a guy who's got confidence.
I love it. You know? I mean, the way he play is with the reason why this is great for him, because he can go to a different level because it's in him.
Yeah.
He's not somebody that you got to fire up. And to me, I'm thinking, like, he had this in him. He was doing this at his previous school before he even came to Creighton.
Yep.
Why did you wait a whole year to do it again? So he's my unsung hero. He's yours. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. And then we're going to move on to Worst Call of the Game. It's sponsored by Godfather's Pizza. They are not your worst call of the game. Your best call is to call them right now and to order Godfather's Pizza for tonight for all the sports that's going on tonight. You got the big NBA final of the mid-season or season tournament.
In-season tournament.
In-season tournament.
Yep.
Should be crazy there in Vegas with it's a Laker town to begin with. But, you know, they've got fabulous choices. My favorite's the combo. They've also got a great taco pizza. So don't forget the dessert, too, the cinnamon bread. Oh, baby, it's good. So check them out today. Godfather's Pizza in Omaha Staple. It's a family-owned and operated business. Go to their website, godfathers.com. That's Godfather's Pizza. Pizza pie piled high. And we're going on to worst call of the night. I think it was the one that sticks out. When you win by 45 points, there's probably no worst calls. But
Right.
The one is the second half. Kalkbrenner went over, tipped it. I thought it tipped off the Central Michigan player, and they gave it to Central Michigan.
Well, like you said, I mean, the way they were beating them, sometimes I think the refs check out, too.
Oh, yeah.
I think the refs checked out.
And we didn't have there were 3 guys out there I'd never seen before either.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Saturday afternoon with a lot of college basketball going on.
Yeah.
They were like, we'll give them the B crew.
Exactly. And those guys, respectfully, I've seen them. So my father-in-law coaches Bellevue University girls, and they coach a lot of NAIA games. They know what they're doing, but they're not our typical crew for sure. You are exactly right.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
Well, you know, there was one other one that Mac went ballistic on in the first half with Kalkbrenner.
Really?
What was that? Oh, well, they called the offensive foul when they said they hooked him.
Yeah,
he was getting shoved in the back.
Yeah, he was getting shoved in the back. But then the thing about it is, I don't like when teams know that the call ain't right and then they complain to the sidelines like he was doing it the whole game. He's been doing this. Like the big man was complaining as if it was a correct call, you know? I don't like people like that. The ball don't lie though.
We fixed that. We fixed that when we came out in the second half. We said, we're going to Kalk.
Exactly.
And boom, 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 boom.
Exactly, yeah. Would you say he had a silent game? I mean, he does what he does.
15 points. I mean, if you told me to guess how many points I'd say 10.
10.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, what was his stat line?
15 points. He only had 2 rebounds, though.
Yeah, that's all good.
To me, I would have said he had 5 or 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Weird.
right. Yeah,
Weird.
right.
Weird.
Yeah, right. But no, yeah, I don't really like
One block.
Yeah, it wasn't no
assists.
worst call. I mean, there's little things you can point out like that. Gotta love them at Godfather's Pizza. Every time you mention Godfather's, I think about when I played in the boxes I collect.
The earliest, I think that's the earliest I've ever seen it. I think there was one other game one time, maybe at 15, but we got Godfather's Pizza tonight before the media timeout, the first media timeout in the second half. That's early.
Yeah, very early. I don't even remember that myself.
I remember one of the game was around that time, but this might be the earliest.
Yeah, and who will Central Michigan go on to play this year?
Well, they're going to play in the MAC, so they're going to play Toledo and Akron are pretty good in the MAC.
Okay.
The MAC's kind of dropped a little bit over the last few years, and I think that's in talking to a couple of the Creighton coaches who coach with this head coach of Central Michigan.
Right.
Their issue is twofold. Number one, the MAC's dropped a little bit over the years. Number two, and you say, well, why did that happen? Well, easy, right?
Yeah.
NIL, they don't have, even though they have football, they don't have that NIL money.
That's tough.
And especially some of the towns, like they're in Mount Pleasant. It's not a very big town. It's just a small college town.
Right.
Some of these other areas are maybe in more depressed areas like Akron and Toledo where the economy's not very good.
Yeah.
So they don't get that.
I remember I played in Akron, and it really wasn't a vibe there, so to speak.
The Zips.
Yeah, with the Zip. And we actually coached LeBron James's high school coach.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Man, I remember they kicked our tail, man. That's when we had Coach Altman.
I remember that. We went to Akron.
Yeah.
Remember that in those days? That was a big game.
I know.
And now we're like, oh, Alabama.
It was a thing about it, like, I mean, Omaha was hyped about it, like, oh, man, LeBron James is high school coach. We were excited to go there and stuff. It was cool to meet him. But, yeah, they kicked our tail, man.
All right, before we get to opponent preview, I want to talk a little bit about this because this was brought up at the game today, and it's very important if you weren't at the game today or maybe you just watched on TV and you probably missed this, okay? Because so many people have talked about this, the Villanova game, and I hate to jump way ahead.
Yeah,
there's only a couple games ahead.
We're going to jump ahead.
But the Villanova game where they're retiring Doug's jersey, and most people just assumed it was halftime, and you're like, no, that's not happening, obviously, because Coach Mack is coaching the game.
Right.
So it's going to happen 20 minutes before the game.
Yes.
So the game's at 7.
That's good as you're saying this.
That means you got to get there. You know, the ceremony starts at 6:40. That means you got to get there about 6:15.
6:15 latest.
Because it's going to be a huge crowd.
Exactly.
So
sellout crowd.
So it's going to be like, you got to think of it like tip-offs at 6:40. What time would you get to the game? That's what you got to think about.
If I was people, I would get there the earliest of 5:30 because they open it up, I think, 90 minutes before.
Right.
So I would say that I wouldn't even say 6:15. I would say
you better be in the building by 6:15. Yeah, you better be in the building by 6:15.
By 6:15 at least. So exactly.
So if you're getting something to drink, sit down.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be a rush.
It's going to be a big deal, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's already sold out.
Just reflecting on Doug's career, man. I can honestly, and I'm not just saying this because he was my teammate. He's probably the best player I've played with. And he's probably the hardest working player I've ever seen when I played basketball. Like, you're talking about a kid who came in scrawny. He was offered to walk on when Coach Altman was the coach. He ran up and down with us. We had him in pickup. He was cool on his visit. Will Artino, we were more interested in him. And then he comes back with his dad. And from the time he got into the gym until the first year, I mean, you're talking about a Kenny Lawson Jr. at the time was preseason player of the year.
Yep, I remember that.
Doug McDermott, because we had Echenike at the time. Doug played over Kenny. And he just kept working to get to who he became. And results of it is you getting here at 6:15. Like, I thank Doug McDermott personally because, like, I feel like if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been a Blue Jay still. I was ready to transfer. Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people don't know, man.
I remember, you know what? I remember, I don't know if you remember that. We had a conversation the day Mac was announced. Remember, you and I had a conversation. I was
out. I was leaving.
And I could tell.
I was gone.
You were like, I don't know.
And the reason why is because I'll never forget this, man. My redshirt freshman year, we're at Northern Iowa, and we're running the spread offense. And Coach Altman's evolved. I'm saying this respectfully because he's at Oregon now. The talent is way superior.
Coach Altman's a legend.
Yeah. Right? But we're at now. This is, mind you, went to Arkansas, came back to Omaha. Stuff like that, right? So we're playing against Northern Iowa, and we're running a spread offense. And Coach Jacobson had us down to a T so much where, like, they were in the places we were supposed to cut, and they were in the places we were supposed to catch the ball.
He's a good coach.
Yeah. And after that practice, we had a practice, and I remember, like, just saying to myself, like, man, like, the style of play that I want to play, I want to get up and down, and I'm not sure if I can do this here anymore. And literally the day that I went to Coach DeVries and told him that, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you guys for the offer. I think I want to just go somewhere else and, like, just try a basketball career. He went to Oregon, and serendipitously, Coach Mack came, man. And I was hesitant. I wasn't going to stay.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I could tell in your
voice. But it was Coach Mack himself who said, I can't promise you anything except for you're going to be a great young man and you're going to learn everything that you wanted to learn out of basketball.
Yeah.
Rest is history.
Coach Mack is, jeez.
Yeah, that for real.
Sometimes about the great, you know, when you watch a game on TV, they always talk about, well, he's one of the top X and O guys in the country.
No, he's one of the greats, bro.
He is. But he's a better person and a better person to relate to people.
Yeah, he get me. Yeah, like, we put in the Cutter's offense because, like, he understood the type of player that I was and how I can integrate with the type of system that he was running. Yeah, so I appreciate that.
I got a chance to be in a call with Doug the other day.
Oh, nice.
Doug was saying that, you know, yeah, my dad's really evolved. Like, he's really become a player's coach now. Maybe he wasn't that at the beginning. And then Doug threw in this. He goes, he didn't let me shoot 19 threes a game.
Man, right? No, what? You already know how many threes I would have shot a game.
I know.
I know. I'm going to tell you this. This is the first time that I text Coach Mack and said, Where was this at when I played? I seen Marcus Foster in and out, crossover, catch the ball, or pass the ball, catch it back, step back 3 in the corner.
Marcus was freak, though. Marcus was a freak.
He was.
I remember I was sitting
He was
next
tough.
In the Virgin Islands. I was sitting next to Brody and John doing a game,
Brody
right?
Darren. Yeah.
And it was a timeout, and Marcus just made one of those kind of moves and drained it. And I think it was Ole Miss called a timeout, and then they started the wolfing, and he got a technical.
Yeah.
And I turned to Brody and I said, you know what? I'm okay with that because
Right. Yeah.
we haven't had a dog like that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the thing is, we had one, but Mac put me on the leash. Let me just keep it real with you. Keep it real. And that's the thing. These Big East fans get it twisted. I'll bust Marcus Foster. I'll bust Tyshawn Alexander when I play. I just didn't have those opportunities. And I played my role, and now we're getting the guy's jersey retired, man.
You know what Brody said to me? Maybe, Tim, but you don't do it right in front of the referee.
Yeah. No, but we're all competitive. But Marcus Foster is probably one of my favorite because he was swashbuckling like me. And
you never forget.
that was my guy.
You needed to be that kind of player like you and Marcus to hit that shot against Xavier in the Big East tournament.
100%.
A lot of other
100%.
You know, and
100%.
to Max credit,
100%.
Max said to him, take it.
Go. Yeah, and that's the thing. When we played Alabama, he was telling me that.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, there was times in the second half I took 2 threes on the wing. Somebody went under the screen. I just shot him. He just wanted some momentum going. And I honestly was confused because all year he was telling me, don't shoot him.
Josh is shooting too much.
Yeah, but the thing was I was shooting out of the context of our offense.
Yeah.
So I understood what he was saying. But, that's why I appreciate Coach Mack. He has evolved more and more into a player's coach. I'm excited for the next batch of players that's coming.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, to Doug Trey, I just want to mention one thing about Doug too. Mm-hmm. He said he said it about 3 times during this Zoom call we had with him. Look, I guess they're honoring. I get that, but he goes, I want this to be a team thing. Like you,
he did say that.
Ross,
I know.
all the guys he played with.
Right.
He goes,
he did say that.
I know a lot of them are going to be there. I want it to be a team thing because without those guys, I couldn't have done what I did. Yeah. And back to your point when he came.
Doug too.
the funniest part was when he came, I was like, okay, all right. I knew
Coach
who he
Son?
was.
Yeah.
I knew we recruited him. I knew he came here for a visit.
Yeah.
I knew he went to Northern Iowa. Wasn't crazy because Ben is his godfather, right?
Exactly.
And then when he came over, like, okay, well, let's see what we got. I go to Summer League, and the first night of Summer League, I go back and report back to people. I go, because Mac at the time had said, we might redshirt him.
He wasn't sure in the sun, man.
And I said, first night of Summer League, I said, redshirt him.
Yeah.
Right now, without even measuring people, he's the 6th best player on the team.
Is.
So I said that on one of our shows, and of course, people played that for 4 years.
It's the facts, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, Doug, the work he put in, man.
Yeah.
I seen it firsthand. He was my roommate. Because Doug was a guy where there was a point in time where, do you remember when we played against North Carolina?
Yes.
And he would get the ball, and we tried to put him at the 3-some, Rocky at the 4.
Yep.
Have him be a guard more. He really couldn't put it on the ground.
Right.
He came back the next season and was putting it on the ground. And then deeper into the season, we wanted him to start hitting off the dribble threes. He just kept adding to his game, man.
Yeah.
And he's been a journeyman in the NBA. But I think what he's been persistent with is the effort and work he put in. He's a great locker room guy. And if you actually pass it to him, San Antonio, he will make it. Doug McDermott can make a 3.
I had to look because his dad said something the other day. He's 7th. I didn't realize he's 7th.
He is
in the NBA in 3-point shooting.
He is. And he get less attempts too.
Yeah.
Doug McDermott has put in the work and everything.
You said he's a journeyman. You know what was journeyman? That money going into his bank account.
I know, twice. Twice.
A lot of money going into his bank account.
Yeah, 2 big contracts. Yeah, for sure. So I'm proud of you, Doug.
Anyway,
I'm proud of you,
it's
bro.
going to be great. We're hoping.
Legend.
Because we have Josh on the show, and we're hoping that we can sneak Doug in here.
I think we can pull that off. Yeah. I think so.
So that's our goal for
sure. He'll probably be here to celebrate
a week from Wednesday. Yeah,
for sure.
No, he is.
We'll get him.
We know that.
We'll get him on the show.
We're gonna get him on. Try and get him on the show. So that'd be awesome. And I want to get him on the show. I'm gonna have. He'll remember it too.
Yeah.
because I don't know if I brought this up before, but way back when we were doing the radio show, so Doug, the first 3 or 4 games, he had good games, right?
Yeah, right.
And Danny O'Byrne goes, well, he keeps this up, he'll be Creighton's all-time
leading scorer.
and we were just joking. Danny goes, I think we should have a quest for greatness. So we started.
Yeah.
We had a chart on the wall in the studio where every week we would update it. And Doug remembered that. Like when we talked to him one time, he goes, I go, Doug, when did you first think that you could do it? He goes, well, I think it was you guys, because you guys said quest for greatness. You know,
exactly.
Funny,
exactly.
Funny deal.
This is when I knew that like he was next level. We played against, it might have been Villanova. I'm not sure, but he had a flare screen game winner at the CHI, man. And the way that play was drawn up, I knew for a fact that he was going to catch it, shoot it, and make it. And the way that, like, I just seen the play when I was, like, poetry in motion. Like, my boy Isaiah Zierden set the flare screen, and Doug caught it. And it really was an and one if you ask me. But it was one of the biggest shots I've seen, man. And everything else was just counting the points. 3,000.
Yeah,
3,
I don't remember the game, but I remember watching it. It was a road game, and he made the bucket in the end. I go, man, that dude is that's a player.
He's different. Yeah. He's rare.
So anyway, again, we've given you a warning. We're going to give you a warning the next show and the next show.
Right.
You got to get there early to be there in your seat for Doug's raising Doug's jersey into the rafter at the Villanova game.
Do we have any other players' jerseys up there? I won't be looking in the rafters.
Well, we've got, there's some numbers up there. I don't know if that, I don't quite get that when you say you're retiring the number.
Nobody should wear 3 ever again. Right.
But then you have teams like the New York Yankees, they have so many numbers retired, they're like, we can't do that. We're running out of numbers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so maybe we aren't. But now that they've expanded the numbers where you can wear 8 and 9,
6 and stuff. Yeah.
So now it's probably more likely.
Yeah.
But I know we have Harstead up there.
Yeah.
I think
maybe
Kyle Korver's up there.
Yeah.
Paul Silas is up there.
Yeah, we got the people
Bob
up there.
Gibson is up there.
All right. Okay. I'm going to start looking up.
Portman. You mentioned Portman. Yep. So
that's
anyway,
what's up.
At any rate. So we'll be mentioning that. We want to get to opponent preview, and UNLV's 3-3. As we mentioned with Coach Merfeld, unfortunately, they lost a game because of the tragedy at UNLV last week. That would have been a nice game for them against Dayton because Dayton's a good team. Mm-hmm. But they've really only played one like Power 5 school.
Right.
That was Florida State, and they lost by 8 points. And Florida State's not the Florida State of years past. They're not that good this year. But, you're on the road again.
Yeah. I just feel like if a team...
We haven't had a lot of luck in Vegas lately.
I know. If a team wants to beat Creighton, This is the perfect
If
you really want a chance to beat Creighton, this is your chance here. Because, obviously you always got to pick your poison. If you want to try to double team Calk, we got all these guys that can shoot. If you want to try to, take that three-point line away, we definitely got Calk Brenner who can clean up on the inside. But I have yet to see Creighton play a physical team. So I'm curious if UNLV will come out and actually try to be physical for...
Well, Colorado State kind of laid that blueprint for everybody.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I wonder if that's going to be the same energy.
Yeah.
But our fans travel well, though.
Oh, yeah. There'll be a lot of Creighton fans there. Now there's a lot of Creighton fans in the Vegas area as well. Right. And not only that, we kind of... Oklahoma State kind of tried to be physical with us, and it didn't work.
No. They couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, right. So, but at any rate, that game is Wednesday. It's at 8 o'clock. I think it's on CBS Sports Net.
It is.
And you're going to be in Vegas with the Let It Fly crew, right?
I can't go anymore, man. My daughter might come any week.
So, does that mean you'll be here with me?
I'm going to be here with you, buddy.
Oh, this is the guy.
Yeah, I was waiting to tell you. I'm going to be here with you, buddy.
So, we'll be here Wednesday night about 10:15-ish.
I'll be here.
You're the man. Well, unless the baby comes.
No, it's not that soon. But it's just a matter of
I hear you.
It's in the trajectory.
All right. So then we're going to do a show on Wednesday, and then obviously a week from today, we'll be right here about 9:15 talking about a huge win over Alabama.
Yes, sir. I can't wait for that. Like I said, I got fans already coming up, smiling at me. I'm a part of history, man.
It's so funny.
I'm the right guy to be there, too.
I was on, I got to tell the side story, and then we'll get out of here. I was on Alabama radio that next morning.
Wow.
Because they wanted to talk to somebody. They had a Saturday morning show, right?
Okay.
So I'm on the show with them, and we're talking, and, great guys, and we're talking about the whole game, and they're like, well, we think that was a foul. And I go, well, they didn't call it. You know, what are you going to say? And, you know, on and on. Then we talked about North Carolina, the matchup. And they're like, no, we think you ought to run, da-da-da. And they get all done. And, well, we really loved having you on. Hey, I got one more thing. I go, you're not going to come up here and poison our trees, are you?
Yeah.
They're like, boom, goodbye.
Yeah, right.
They're not like that.
Yeah, right.
That was funny. But anyway, want to thank Coach Murph. Want to thank Josiah Dotzler.
Yes,
he was great.
It was great.
It was a great game. It was great to have him on in a game that he got to play 10 minutes.
I think with the team we got now, our fans should start looking at this as positives of what we can add as we go into Big Season play, Big East play. Like, don't look at it as, oh, man, it's a blowout. I know a lot of people didn't come. That's fair to say. But every game this year, look at it from the perspective of what we can do to add as we go. This is the team. This is we're right back.
I really want to win these next two because I think only losing one in non-conference is going to set us up beautifully for the conference season.
Exactly.
And then we got 2 tough conference games right out of the chute.
Back to back.
Yeah. Albeit 10 days apart.
Yes.
But, you know, but yeah. So we're thrilled and excited for this team, especially the way some of these role players are developing.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. By the way, if you watch on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It helps us out so much. By the way, the last show we did, our top viewership ever.
I don't know if it's
right there.
If it's
after
my
the
good
Nebraska
side or what?
game, the Nebraska game, people
That's what's
wanted to
up.
hear
Let's
what we
keep
had
it
to
going,
say.
man.
Yeah. All right. So thanks a lot. We'll see you here on Wednesday night.